Hello. So you probably noticed the internet is so obsessed with naming little like micro trends in beauty, and I want to talk about it. Cold girl makeup, latte makeup, strawberry girl makeup. Like, there is a name for everything, and I have some thoughts. So I want to discuss that today while we do one of the trends, latte makeup. And actually, I'm like so behind because after latte makeup, like I'm 3 trends behind at this point because we had latte makeup and then tomato girl makeup, and now we're already on to strawberry girl makeup. And I'm wondering, like, by the time this video goes up in a few days, is strawberry girl makeup gonna be old news already? I don't know. So we're gonna try to do that look while we talk about this obsession with trends. Okay, so if you haven't seen latte makeup, this is kind of the inspiration for it. It is very bronzy, but not too much of a warm bronze, almost like a milky bronze, like a latte, you know? And for this look, I did just go get myself a latte. This is decaf, this is my second coffee of the day. But for my base, I wanna mix these together again. I used these in my, is it good or is it just aesthetic video? And I really liked these two combined. So it is the NYX Bare With Me Blur Foundation and the Drunk Elephant Be Goldy Bright Drops. So these are their new like mixing drop. Well, they're not necessarily just for mixing. You can use, that was this, not me. You can use these for whatever you want. It's just like highlighter drops basically. But I'm gonna mix that with shade Vanilla in the NYX Bare With Me Blur, which is actually such a good shade match for me. So there has been kind of this obsession with like naming and even repackaging trends, and a lot of these are just like different styles to do your makeup. I remember one that I really liked, okay? I liked this. This was controversial. Not everyone liked this, but last year when cold girl makeup was really trendy, I was so on board with it because it is like the red blush right in here, the sparkles on the eyes. I just thought it was a very cute look. Like I said, today we're doing latte makeup, but honestly, latte makeup was more like a July trend, and now into August, like the trendy thing is strawberry girl makeup at the moment. And you might be wondering, Kelly, what the heck are you talking about? But we're gonna get into it, don't worry. But this is something I've really seen kind of exploding on the internet in the last few years, and I can't necessarily tie it to one specific app. You know, you might say, oh, it's really big on TikTok, but I have seen these styles of makeup on Instagram, on YouTube. I have seen these talked about in magazines. Like, it's not just a TikTok thing. This is definitely just in the beauty space. People love to name trends right now. And maybe you're expecting me to be like, oh, this is silly, I don't like this. But weirdly, I'm kind of a fan, I will say. I have a ton of thoughts, but I think at its essence, it's not really a bad thing. And I want to talk through like why I think it's actually kind of a fun and inspiring take on makeup, even though at times it can feel draining. Like some of these really feel like, okay, you're just trying to make fetch happen. A recent one for nails has been blueberry milk nails, and when I saw that one, I was like, do you mean light blue? Going in with my Flower concealer. Honestly, all I've been using lately is just the Flower concealer, the Natasha Denona concealer. Honestly, I'm just like back and forth. Those are the best ones in my opinion. And the reason I kind of love that we're doing all these very like themed trends, shall we call them, they feel almost nostalgic to me, the way I used to really enjoy beauty content on YouTube. And like at their essence, they're just ways to do your makeup versus like, oh, you need this product, or like, oh, this is the hot new product. They're kind of just different styles you can try. And I think that's also fun because you can decide like, do I like this look on myself? And like today, we're doing the latte look. It is very bronzy, which by the way, we're going in with bronzer right now. This is the Merit bronzer stick. Oh my gosh, wait, the way I did not even finish blending out my foundation down here, whoops. And I also like that like these methods are more so about teaching and about, they're kind of like tutorials. And it reminds me in a way of old school YouTube when tutorials were the thing. And it does feel like over the years, a lot of beauty content has evolved to be super product focused in terms of like, oh, this is the new thing you need, or like, this is a review on this. And so in a way, these very themed trends kind of feel like a way to get back to just the essence of loving makeup and having fun with it and trying different things. And don't get me wrong, some of these trends, I'm like, girl, like I said, with blueberry nails or some of these, maybe they feel a little forced, but I think it's also fun to just like try a different look. I remember on YouTube, like when I really first started getting into watching beauty videos, you would see people like creating or recreating different looks from celebrities and whatnot. And those videos still do exist, but not as much. But at the time, like that was a really fun thing to do, to like watch that tutorial, try to emulate it, do your own version of it. And with those videos, it was never like, okay, you need these exact products to do it. No, it's like, hey, if you have a brown eyeshadow, use that for this step. And that's kind of how I view these themed trends. And it's like a little shop your stash experiment, and maybe not experiment, but it's a shop your stash moment. And that was how I felt today when I was sitting down collecting the products to do my latte makeup look. I was like, oh, let me go through my makeup and find the products that I think are gonna fit this bronzy look. And I pulled out some products that I hadn't used in a while, like for example, when we get to lips, spoiler alert, I'm gonna use my Fenty Hot Choco Lit. Loved this when I first got it, and I haven't used it in a while, and I'm like, oh, this is the perfect excuse to pull that back out. Like in the past, sometimes I've done my shop my stash videos a little bit more with a theme like that, and that's what this reminded me of today. Like, ooh, I gotta pick out my products that are all bronzy. And I think there's some beauty in that, to know that like anyone could participate in these trends, because it's not necessarily about a specific product. Like if you want to do the strawberry girl look right now, like you could just go in with any pinky red blush that you have. And even if you don't have the exact same shade, maybe you could mix some shades together, because these trends aren't about products, they're about application and technique. And I also feel like it's kind of a way to see maybe what works for you and what you like. Like when the cold girl makeup trend was so big for a while there, and the focus of that style was very much like the red blush in this area, I saw so many people saying, okay, I don't normally put my blush here, but I'm gonna try it for this look. And then a lot of times you turn out to like it. Or maybe you see, you know what, I don't like that placement on myself. Okay, I'm doing a little bit of powder. This is my Kosas powder, and I'm kind of thinking for this look, I want it to be so bronzy that I don't think I'm gonna do blush or highlight. I think I'm gonna use 3 bronzers. I know that sounds obnoxious, but first we did the cream bronzer. Now we're going with my favorite bronzer, which is my Fenty bronzer in the shade Into Sun. What's also nice about this though is like you can do your own interpretation. Like the original like latte girl makeup was very much inspired by this photo, and this original photo has like some freckles, it has a little bit of shimmer on the lids, but I don't know if I necessarily want to do that today. Maybe I'll add some fake freckles, maybe I'll do shimmer on the lid, but the way I kind of want to interpret latte makeup today is a little bit more matte, and so I kind of want to keep the base matte, and then I think matte eyes. I don't know though. Once we get to eyes, we'll decide. But I want this to be just like so bronzy. We're gonna really lean into this. Some of them have made me laugh, like when Tomato Girl makeup really started trending. That one at first I thought was a joke, and then I started seeing it for real, and then I was like, wait, I kind of like this. Like I was doing some tomato inspired looks. Like the name of that one is maybe not as cute as like Strawberry Girl makeup. Like Tomato Girl, that sounds a little weird, but I thought it was honestly a cute trend. I really loved all of the looks that I saw with it. Okay, going in with bronzer number 2, I'm going to use a more glowy bronzer. Since I'm skipping highlight, I want a little bit of glow from this. So this is Ambra from Nabla, but okay. Speaking of Tomato Girl, I was on a date recently, and the drink I ordered, it was a tomato themed or tomato based drink, and I know you're picturing like a Bloody Mary, but it wasn't like that. It was actually a really sweet interpretation on tomatoes. It was like weirdly kind of good. Not the best thing I've ever had, but definitely a unique drink, I will say that. But anyway, so I go to order the drink, and I'm like joking with my date. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really leaning into the Tomato Girl summer. I don't know why I thought that he would know what I meant by that, because he just like looked me dead in the eyes and was like, what? Tomato Girl? What do you mean? And I'm like, Tomato Girl, like that's the trend right now, Tomato Girl. I mean, he laughed along, but I could tell he was like, what the heck is she talking about, Tomato Girl? And then I went on to explain to him, I'm like, that's the trend right now. It's like the red look, like the tomato theme. And he was like, oh yeah, Tomato Girl. Okay, normally I wouldn't do this much bronzer, but I feel like because this look we're really just doing bronzer, I kind of wanna, like, I want it to be a lot. I wanted you to look and like, wow, that looks bronzy, you know? This is good for now. Maybe I'll come back and add more. Maybe I will try to tone it down. I am not sure. Lately though, what I'm about to say is gonna be shocking, I know, but some days I've been liking doing just bronzer, no blush. And like I really haven't worn much highlight in a while. And I think you could do this look with bronzer, blush, and highlight. I would say you just want to do kind of bronzy tones, a little bit more neutral, but I kind of like the just bronzer. It is interesting too, if you look beyond just like this concept in beauty trends, we've also seen this a bit everywhere. Like everything has a name these days. Nothing can just be what it is. It has to have a name, like girl dinner. Okay, so I primed a little bit with the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and then the palette I decided to use for this. And truly I could have gone with a lot of palettes because I have a lot of brown eyeshadow palettes, but I want to use Bare Necessities from ColourPop because the idea for this look is that it's like a latte, like this color. This latte looks really light right now, I guess, but it's not supposed to be too warm. So I'm kind of thinking, what if we start with the shade Hot Gossip and see where that gets us? Now, the funny thing about these very themed trends is that honestly, usually they are just repackaged. Like there are so many carryover qualities between like cold girl makeup and strawberry makeup. Like truly one of the only differences is that strawberry makeup, usually you're adding like some faux freckles there, but the blush tones, the blush placement are kind of the same. Even like from tomato girl makeup to strawberry girl makeup, which were really back to back, those had so many similar like qualities to them. You almost can't tell the difference. The difference really is just like tomato girl makeup is slightly more like terracotta, and then the strawberry one is a little more like red with freckles or like reddish pink. Okay, this is actually already pulling a lot more warm than I necessarily intended for it to. So let's take a little bit of the shade On Holiday, which is a little lighter, but it's a little more cool toned, and we'll try to make it slightly less warm, though I actually do really like this. This color and this look, I just love it every single time. Like truly, I could put on mascara and stop right here and this could be the whole look. I just think this color tends to be so easy to wear. And you know I love an all matte eye look. That's the thing about loving an all matte eye look. I will be starting to like build up an eye look to then add shimmers, and I'll get to this step and I'm like, do I even want to add shimmer? Because right now it looks so nice. And I'm kind of focusing on like dragging these out a little bit. It's also interesting to me. I know I hear from so many people that they want to see like tutorials come back. Okay, wait, I'm gonna take the EO5 from Sigma. This is like a pointy eyeliner brush. And then probably mix these two together and then start kind of just applying that at the lash line a little bit. But I feel like for the most part, you know, as a creator, and you probably heard this said over and over and over again, but for the most part, people don't really watch tutorials. If I were to just post a look of like bronzy brown eyeshadow, it would not get any clicks. But I think that's kind of the fun part about these themed looks is that people are wanting to watch them, and it's a way to do tutorials in a way that viewers are excited to see. Like this whole idea kind of does feel like the return of tutorials for me, because my whole feed will be like, this is everyone showing their take on latte makeup. And something about it feels so nostalgic to me, to like the old days of when tutorials really were everything in the beauty space. So I'm mostly just keeping this at the lash line. I'm extending it out a tiny bit, and I'm only taking it in probably to where like my iris starts. As the look comes along, I'm like, do I want to add freckles? I have been loving the freckle pen that was a collab with Rudy Berry and Buble. I've been loving that freckle pen. Normally, I feel like freckle pens don't look natural. And with that one, especially if I'm applying it onto skin that I haven't set yet, like if I haven't put my powders or anything on and I tap it out, I think it looks so natural. So I'm like, do I want to do that? Okay, so we have a little bit of a wing going on. It's a little messy though, so I'm gonna take my sponge that still has a little bit of product on it and clean up the edge a tiny bit with the sponge. I'm wishing I had a really great brown mascara right now. I don't have any at the moment that I feel like actually pull brown. The ones that I have that right now that are brown don't really look brown. I wish I had one that was like a true warm brown. I think that would look so cool with this. That is the thing. I need more brands to come out with brown mascara that's brown. All these brown mascaras are just black. Okay, I don't normally do anything in the lash line, but I'm going to today. I've been kind of getting a little more into this. So I'm going to use the Nabla Cupid's Arrow in the shade, I think this is 2. Yes, 2. And try my best. It's so hard to do this on camera because I need like a hand to hold my eye down and a hand to hold the mirror. But I'm gonna keep this in the waterline, and like, I don't really want to get any on the skin, just the lash, or like the waterline. Look at that. This is not always my vibe. Like, it's on this side, not this one. But when you do it with a brown, there's something so sultry about this. Like, sometimes I find it a bit heavy on my eyes because I don't, like, my eyes are a little smaller. They're not like super small, but I don't always feel like my eye shape carries waterline eyeliner very well. But a brown is different. I feel like if you really don't love like a black on your lower lash line, try a brown. And the thing is, like, again, keep it in the lash line. Don't really get it on the skin. Okay, actually really loving this. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to want to do a little bit of like eyeshadow smoked out underneath that or just leave it. But let's put on mascara and decide. This is from KELLYG. It is their volume mascara. I'm really liking this look, and it's bringing me, I don't want to say out of my comfort zone because I can't say this isn't a look I would normally do. It's a very Kelly look, but it's also maybe just like a pairing that I haven't done in a while, and I'm liking it. And I will say all these little trends just kind of get me excited about doing my makeup and almost re-inspired to use products that I already have. Okay, I've decided I do want to add the freckles, so we're gonna take Rudy's pen, and the tip that Rudy says is to start on your nose. Oops. And then with this, I've learned that I like to tap it out immediately. Like, I don't really like to let it sit very long. I'll do like 3 freckles at a time and then tap it out, because you want them to be kind of sheer. Like, you don't want a ton of opacity out of this product because you want it to look like a real freckle. I think it helps that I do have some freckles already. You guys, I used to have a lot more freckles, but now that I use tretinoin and I regularly use sunscreen, I have way less freckles. Like, when I look at pictures of myself from a few years ago, it actually blows my mind because I had so many freckles and I kind of miss them. So that's why this is fun. And I'm doing most of them like on my nose / in the middle, which I think is one of the biggest keys to make fake freckles look more natural. Like, if you're mostly doing them in here, it seems a little more fake, but I feel like on the nose is the perfect technique. So I just did a few. I always have to stop myself because I want to just sit there and keep going and going and going. And then I get it to a point where I'm like, okay, this doesn't look natural anymore. Like, it originally kind of did, but then I take it too far. But for lips, I'm thinking we're gonna do a few lip liners because you know me. So first, let's take the NYX in the shade Nude Beige. This is very much like the same shade as my lips, so I like to start with this one. Step 2, I'm gonna take Nude Truffle, which again, I feel like is the good shade for this latte look because it's not too warm, but it is bronzy brown, but it's not a warm brown. Okay, now we're gonna take a little bit of this. So with this lip gloss, if you do a lot of it, it looks a lot more brown, but I want more of a sheer effect, so I'm gonna do a really little amount. Okay, that's so pretty. I really love this look. You know, do I think everything needs a name? No. Do we take it too far sometimes? Yeah, sometimes it's a little obnoxious. We could just say light blue nails, but at its core, I think this big trend of like making new trends is harmless and kind of cute and kind of inspiring. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts down below. Have you participated in any of these little like micro makeup trends? Let me hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I will go ahead and see you in my next one. Bye.